Me, 28 male. With my wife, 27 female, duration 9 years. She cheated on me when I was out of town. Background: we've been together for 9 years. They began dating before college and remained exclusive throughout. I returned home after college to help her continue her education. She ended her relationship with me towards the conclusion of her final semester because she was being pursued by another man. She returned 2 months later, pleading for forgiveness and promising that nothing had happened. We moved into an apartment together 6 months later. We were married about a year later. We moved into a home last year, less than a year after marrying, due to the money I received after my grandmother's death. She lost her job 4 months ago and has yet to find another, as far as I know. I was the breadwinner after graduation and throughout her unemployment. I was fortunate to have a job that covered the majority of our costs, including her college debts and new automobile. Current: I was out of state a couple of Thursdays ago for a corporate project. I wasn't supposed to return until the following Thursday. On Wednesday, I was informed that I might go early. I contacted my wife and told her I'd be home soon, but I could see she wasn't herself and didn't seem pleased with the news. She said she hadn't gotten enough sleep. When I arrived home, she seemed fatigued. We rested for a few hours before going to bed, where she demanded or declared that she wanted. I was in a giving mood after being gone for over a week and did oral before having. Her kisses were all close-mouthed, and she didn't appear to be into things. Nothing out of the ordinary happened the next day when I went to work. She got home after me and immediately went to the shower after returning from a gym lesson. She doesn't smoke, so when I questioned her why she had smokes in her handbag, it appeared to start a topic she was trying to avoid. She admitted to me that she was dissatisfied and had been for some time. She said that she believed we want different things. She said she hadn't missed me while I was gone. Throughout it all, I remained relatively mute and enraged, unable to express my feelings of betrayal. She ended up leaving in tears, and I promptly burst into tears. I contacted my buddies and ended up biking for a few hours to the residence. I was furious and upset when I got home about 11:30 and began searching the house out of suspicion. She'd forgotten about the rings on the dresser. I began poring through her computer. There, I discovered a record of almost 80% of what she and the person she slept with had spoken over the preceding 5 days through Facebook conversations. She indicated that when she was working, everything were acceptable, but that her time away from work was the worst of her life. She felt that she wasn't getting to do the things she wanted to do, and she felt trapped and upset at the actions that had led her here. There were also a lot of mails in which she pushed on their meeting. She had spent the whole evening of Wednesday evening emailing the man and had even asked him to my house for supper. The texting lasted until early morning. When she went to his place at 3 a.m., she didn't get home until after 6 p.m. on Wednesday, 2 hours before I did. They had unprotected intercourse and then insisted on having the night I returned home, a time span of around 18 hours. I also learned from these communications that she went to his place after leaving the home on Thursday night. I saved the full Facebook chat to PDF, which ended up being about 70 pages of communications exchanged in 5 days and kept in several locations. She returned home about 1 a.m. on Thursday night/Friday morning. I informed her that I was aware. According to the transcript, she attempted to assure me that she didn't mean for things to happen. She ended up sleeping in the guest bedroom after a long period of furious quiet. I informed my folks on Friday morning. I advised her to go since I was not interested in forgiving her. She went away for a few days, but she has recently returned to the guest room. My parents informed her relatives, who are distraught. Despite everything, her father and I are still on cordial if odd terms. I have contacted a lawyer. I've also been tested for STD and HIV. Results are still pending. I've shifted what money I can out of joint accounts and into my own. I've been preparing my belongings to live without her once the agreement is completed and she leaves. I'll have to wait a full year after the arrangement is completed before the divorce is official. I haven't spoken anything to her in the weeks after everything broke apart, but we're meeting in person today to talk about it. I'm sure I let something out, but that's the core of it. The only thing I don't know or have plans for is where I'm going from here. I know I'm still young, but I've never been one to go out and meet new people, and I have no idea what I'm doing when it comes to dating as an adult. To be clear, she does not use birth control. We've been using condoms since we began dating, and one was used the night I returned, so the possibility of a pregnancy ruse is small to none. Also, as several of you have pointed out, this was not her first time cheating. I discovered through the transcript that she had with another man from work 4 years ago. following the breakup and reconciliation, but before we moved in together. Story 2. Me, 30 male, with my wife, 18 female of 4 years, together for 10 years, cheated on me with a common friend. After more than 10 years of dating, we will be celebrating 4 years of marriage in December of this year. Over the course of this time period, we've had our fair share of ups and downs, as well as disagreements. But at the end of the day, we are in love with one another. The last 3 years have been extraordinarily beneficial in terms of productivity. During our very early relationship time, I became inebriated and kissed a girl, confessing my feelings to her, 2004. Despite the fact that she would bring it up in disagreements, she eventually gave up on this belief after a long period of time. It was during this era of constant disagreements, breakups and patches, that my partner and I sought emotional support from another female. As a result, I didn't feel guilty or like I was doing anything wrong at this time, since we were mainly broken up. Except for a few first-level kisses and hugs, there was little physical touch between the participants. She found out about it when going through my emails, and the situation quickly escalated into a heated dispute. I pushed that girl out of my thoughts and promised myself that I would always be faithful. Since then, I've continued in this manner. We got married, started a family, and are madly in love with one another. Men have always adored her and have even flirted with her innocuously, but she has never reciprocated. I was able to take it all in stride and felt pleased with myself. I had a tremendous lot of confidence in her abilities. There was never a shaky feeling. This guy, 27 male, is someone she met via a recent job move around a year ago, and with whom she claims to have a spiritual connection. She eventually acknowledged her love for him, and he accepted them, but in platonic friend way. The amount of public hugging and snuggling was overwhelming, even with me there. I wasn't the least bit bothered by it. Their communication was maintained up by long phone conversations and instant messaging. Friends of mine would sometimes query about my whereabouts. I couldn't make out what was happening. Whether it was denial or trust, I'm not sure, but I've never suspected anything other than the fact that she's found a really lovely pal. This last night, he and a few other friends came here for a sleepover, and as is customary, we lay out multiple mattresses on the hall floor and accommodate 5-6 people close to one another. The agreement was arranged by that gentleman, my wife, myself, and 2 other friends. For the first time, my wife and I cuddled up together under the same blanket till I fell asleep. Or, at the very least, she thought I did. The next time I opened my eyes, I could see them under his blanket, and I could make out movement in the dim darkness. They struggled and yanked their pants/underwear up from the bottom. I woke up at 4:30 a.m., unable to do or say anything, and went for a long stroll around the neighborhood. I returned to the room and confronted my wife directly. As a result, she has expressed regret and offered to give it a second shot to succeed. Things like, "Please give us a fresh beginning," and "You punish me, you mistreat me," are some of her favorite phrases. At the moment, my mind and emotions are going mad, and I'm not sure what to do about it. There are a few minor details missing, since it is too much for me to put down at this time given my current state of mind.